And today I'd like to share in this sharing about projection and how that may look for you and how it may be important for you to grow yourself in whatever way. It doesn't, of course I'm coming from a holistic point of view, and that for me is the only place I can come from, because it's like what I've been given. That's the gift that the Creator has given me. So this may seem like a challenging aspect right now, this particular area that we're going to go into. However, I assure you that is potentially providing you with your freedom. And that's a bold statement, a very bold statement. And I can only offer that you would be the one to find out about that freedom. And I'm talking on a spiritual, holistic level. And I can only provide you this nugget of gold and the doorway through conscious awareness. So I hope this assists you, because where I'm going to go with this, many of you might recognize it, but might not have, connected with it fully, because it's jumping down the rabbit hole for sure. So I want to suggest that most of you have seen a map of the world. And a lot of you will recognize the Mercator map. Now, the Mercator map is a derivative of many maps that have been fashioned over many, many thousands of years. But it is the one that is commonly used today in 2024. You see it on your airplane, you see it on TV, you see it on maps and on Google, and you'll see the Mercator all over the place, right? And I'm not saying anything that A, science doesn't know, B, the elite don't know, or C, those that are trying to manipulate and control don't know, right? Because this is basic 101 consciousness. And the thing is that you look at the Mercator map and you start looking at the actual sizes of some of these countries. And of course you only have to look at Greenland, Finland, all those northern hemisphere aspects, and you start to see, whoa, they're not exactly portrayed the way that they are in reality. So the projection of the Mercator is stretched and embellished, and it's not true to form. And having said that, there's an interesting aspect in relation to that. No one's really questioning it, and no one is really pursuing it to make a change to it. That is apparently the status quo. But who tells you what the status quo is? If something is actually incorrect and they're saying that it's the status quo, excuse me if I don't consider that to be a lie, Excuse me if I don't consider that to be misinformation, and excuse me if I don't consider that to be manipulation. Now, the Mercator map is the basic form of a template for such as I just mentioned, right? It is totally incorrect. Yet it is accepted and without question. But it is not to scale. Now no one's saying like, oh, that you know, it's not mapped correctly on the world. Well, that's a wee bit of a different question. You can go and find other maps, but they all seem to follow this particular illusion, projection. And from someone who went down that rabbit hole and looked at the world being flat, it was like, wow, this is interesting. Because I looked at the science and I looked at the misinformation, and I was going like, wow, that's interesting. Sort of like, yeah, the math and the science don't match up to the reality. So what's going on there? And yet when we look at the world, and as an example, and I can remember this distinctly, when Elon Musk was sending up his rockets the first time, he had all these cameras on it, and I'm sure many of you might have watched this. And you go back and have a look for them, and you'll see all these cameras and different viewpoints, and it was a big spectacle. Unexpected spectacles, really, because the first time, and you know, this is all new, so everyone's all excited. But you know what? And even Elon Musk did it. The FAA, I think it was, said, no, you've got to turn off your cameras when you get to a certain amount of height because of national security. Excuse me? Turn off the cameras because of national security? Hey, what, there's only bloody 1,000 or something satellites flying around. What can be more national security than that? I don't know. You know, and they go so fast you're not going to see them. You're not going to be able to take a snapshot on your phone or your computer and get the serial number and the identification number of that satellite, are you? No. And like, yes, there might be sensitive places where they might have A, nuclear arms, or B, HARP infrastructures where they're manipulating and controlling. You know, there could be those. But like most, you know, they've all been pretty well much documented. And then, you know, and the point of hiding all this. So my point is that here you've got a global map, which on the Mercator version is totally incorrect. And you can't even get a really 100% accurate satellite or space station or SpaceX video of the world. Why is that? It's not national security. I can tell you that. If they want national security, then I can show them that. But like, you know, it's not that. It's about keeping the manipulation going. Keeping you all dumb. Because if you accept the Mercator map, think about it, if you accept the Mercator map, don't you think that the next lie is going to be easy and easier and easier and easier? But to tear down the house of cards, you've got to pull out the bottom card, right? What's the bottom card? The Mercator map. There you go. That's why I'm talking about this. Because I want you to be open to the opportunity that everything that is out there is subjected to some form of projection. And if that projection is false and it is told to you to be status quo correct, or that's what we're living with, are you a victim to that? Then your life, your entire life has been a lie and you're a victim. Now, those are strong phrases to use, but that's potentiality. I'm not saying it's exact. You decide that for yourself. I can tell you from myself that having looked at these things, there are big questions to be asked. And of course we're leading into all these other areas where there's so much misinformation, so much control of information, and more lies projected. And here's the reason I am putting this into context for you, is because if we want the world to change, if we want it to change, and we want it to be what it can be, purely without all of this, let's just say, other stuff. I could be stronger, I'm sure, but, you know, I'll leave it at that for the moment. But let's just say that if we want that out and we want this in, how do we do that? Well, first we've got to pull down, you know, the house of cards. And you start looking at the Mercator map and you start to pull it out. Of course, that will unravel other things for you. That will open up other doors for you. But truly, consider it and look into it for yourself. Do the research. Look at the various maps that were created thousands of years ago. There's lots of information out there. If you're interested in watching your journey in relation to that map, here's something that you can do. And it's really a meditative sort of a thing. But it will work. You'll might spin you out a bit, but it will work. So what happens if you get a Mercator map, right? You put it on the ground and you sit on the ground, right? Now you're facing exactly west. Exactly 100% direct in line of west, right? And the best time to do this is going to be obviously at sundown. Put the Mercator map beside you. Focus on west, right? Sit in your meditation. Bring yourself into a space where you are now able to meditate, or you're just relaxing, but just focus on it. When the sun is gone down, place your hand on the map facing west, right? So the map for you should also be facing west. So you'll be west, north, south, east, right? So the map is in alignment with your direction, yeah? Place your hand on that map as the sun is going down. Now, this is really informative when you're doing it in a meditative state, but I cannot fully say that it'll work if you're just sitting there. But I don't see any reason why it can't, especially if you're calm. Got to be calm, you know, no noise and that sort of thing. Put your hand on the map, and as the sun's going down, feel the map, and the map will move. Underneath you, your hand is going to move in the direction of west. And you look at the map, and you look at where your hand is, there's going to be, I don't know, something between 0 and 12 degrees difference. That's a rough analogy. It could be less than 12, obviously 0 and 12, but you know, it's going to be around that area. Watch the energy. Feel that energy in your hand. Your hand will follow it. Now, of course, there is one sort of caveat to this, and that is, if you're the masculine, use your right hand. If you're a feminine, use your left hand. So the feminine, the goddess, if she puts the map on her left-hand side and does it that way, right? But still, you know, facing west. And masculine on the right-hand side, facing west. And you do it with your composite hands, you know, feminine, masculine, right? You do that, and you will see. You will see. And the question is it you or is it creation? I'm very careful with my words I've said here. Is it you or creation? You know, if you or creation. You decide for yourself. Have some fun with it. Enjoy yourself. And on that note, I'll let you go. Have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world. And sending you lots of love, blessings. And we'll catch you on the next one.